Welcome back, everybody, to my very last and final 2020 7-round Packers mock draft. Today is draft day, and I'm super pumped. I'm excited. Draft day has finally arrived, and this is a great day. It'll be great to be able to welcome one of the newest members of the Green Bay Packers tonight. If we don't move down, if we move out of the first round, like I predicted in my last mock, I guess we'll have to wait another day for some of the newest members of the Green Bay Packers in 2020. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Let's get into this mock. In the first round, I had the Packers move up from 30 to 27. Brian Gutekunst is going to call up his old buddy John Schneider and give him a couple of picks here for the Packers to move up for their future starting offensive tackle Josh Jones out of Houston. And the big reason why I did this is because I think offensive tackle is a very highly underrated need for the Packers. And there's the whole uncertainty of David Bakhtiari returning to the Packers after this season. So that's kind of what prompted me for Brian Gutekunst in this front office to pull the trigger and go up and get an offensive tackle before all the first-round offensive tackles went off the board. And I really, really believe in prioritizing the pass protection of our quarterback Aaron Rodgers. That's why I made this move. And while Josh Jones is certainly not a finished product, he is really raw. He needs some development. But with a year or two with a year, I believe that Josh Jones could make a very good offensive tackle. Whether he's going to be on the left side or the right side, that has yet to be determined, depending on how things go in terms of his development. And another reason is that he's just a very good fit in the Packers' zone blocking scheme. He'll be very effective for the outside zone in particular to help block for Aaron Jones, especially when he comes in, cuts to the outside and be able to make those types of plays. So the price to pay for it was a 4th rounder, a 6th round, and a 7th round pick. Not too bad of a price to pay, given up from what you're trying to get for that. So I think in my opinion, it could pay off. And in the 2nd round, the value just wasn't really there for the Packers, and because the Packers did trade up and did give up a 4th round pick, a 6th, and a 7th. That's why I had the Packers move down from the 2nd round, 62 overall, to 69th overall in the 3rd round with the Carolina Panthers. And Green Bay here got themselves a pretty good pick here, a wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr. out of USC. What can I say? This man just fits the ideal Packer height at wide receiver. This is a big dude. He has a big catch radius, good hands, good body control, very physical. He can be effective on back shoulder throws. He can go deep, and is a quality route runner. The only downside here is that his acceleration is not very good. He didn't test very well in the 10-yard splits and 20-yard splits, so he'll be pretty slow to start out. And when he's going to go make out his runs, his speed is average. He ran a 4.5 speed in the 40, but a lot of that has to do with the acceleration. If his acceleration was faster, he could be much faster. And because of his size, he may be relegated to just an outside receiver, and he may not have the acceleration and the elusiveness to be able to play inside. So that's kind of the negative, and that's why I have Michael Pittman sliding down to the 3rd round instead of getting him in the 2nd, which is where a lot of people are thinking he could be available. But I'm thinking he could be a 3rd rounder because of some limitations. But I believe in waiting until day 2 to pick a receiver, and I think the Packers will do so. And Michael Pittman Jr., the son of former running back Michael Pittman Sr. for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think the bloodline here is too good to pass up on, and this is going to be a good pick, in my opinion. And since Michael fits the prototype size of the Packers, I think it's very possible he will become a Green Bay Packer. At 94 overall in the 3rd round, the 3rd round pick for the Green Bay Packers, they finally pulled the trigger and get an inside linebacker, Logan Wilson out of Wyoming. What can I say about Logan? I believe that this man is an underrated player. He's a 3-down guy, good sideline to sideline speed player, high effort, good tackler. He's good in zone coverage, has some inexperience in man coverage, but with some coaching up, he could be pretty good in that area. He's a instinctive, smart, productive player, tackles well. This is the inside linebacker that we've needed for quite some time now. For so long, we've had so many two-down players. We've had the likes of going through the Blake Martinez of the world, the Jake Ryans, the AJ Hawks. No disrespect to those guys. Those guys were good Packer players, and I absolutely loved having them around in Green Bay, but they were two-down players, instinctive run stoppers, and tacklers. It's about time we get a three-down linebacker to play for this team, a sideline-to-sideline true speed demon to go there and chase down the ball carriers and go in and cover the tight ends and running backs. Let's go get that guy, and I believe we can get that guy in Logan Wilson. But there's still a possibility we could get that guy in Oren Burks if he has a good camp, stays healthy, and who knows, we could have a pretty good duo there going for the Packers on passing downs. There is also Curtis Bolton, the undrafted inside linebacker that could possibly come into the picture as a depth inside linebacker, so if we don't address the inside linebacker position, look for Curtis Bolton. A lot of people have forgotten about him. So I am pumped, and in day 2, with that wrapped up, we got an offensive tackle, a future starter, a wide receiver, and an inside linebacker, and now on to day 3. Starting out on day 3, the Packers don't have a 4th round pick because it was traded to the Seattle Seahawks, but we did get a 5th round pick, and this one I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that James Morgan is going to be here at 148th overall in the 5th round for the Packers to get as a developmental backup quarterback to Aaron Rodgers. What can I say about James? This man he just screams Packer to me. He has grown up a Brett Favre fan, an Aaron Rodgers fan. Let this Wisconsin native come back home. Please, you guys. Green Bay, Brian Gutekunst. Let's get this guy. Even if we have to trade up to go get him, I want James Morgan. As far as the pros go, he has all the makings of a good backup quarterback. Certainly some cons to work out, but with Luke Getsy as the quarterback coach, I'm certainly thinking that he could get the best out of him. He also has Aaron Rodgers, the guy he admires, to help coach him up. It would be a great situation. I mean, he has the arm strength. He's tough. He's played through injuries. He can make all the throws. He can fit a ball into tight windows. Throws it with anticipation. Good pocket poise. The big problems are pocket mobility, working through progressions, and the release of the football, inconsistent ball placement, and the footwork. All of those things are kind of issues with quarterbacks that are kind of picked in the mid rounds to the late rounds. All these things can be worked on probably with good coaching and a lot of hard work, and I certainly believe in James Morgan as a hard worker. Just get this guy to Green Bay, man. I will be so thrilled to see Florida International James Morgan come back home to the state of Wisconsin and play for his home team, the Green Bay Packers. That's all I have to say. And now on to the next pick. With their second pick in the 5th round, 175th overall, the Packers take a running back. Because of some uncertainty with the running back position being intact next season, Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams are both on contract years. One of them will be uncertain to return. My guess it'll probably be Jamal, but just in case it's Aaron Jones, I believe that Darrynton Evans, the running back out of Appalachian State, is very similar to Jones. He is an explosive runner, elusive, a home run threat. He can do some stuff in special teams. He can return kicks. He is an ideal fit in the outside zone schemes. That is pretty much the scheme that we do. The only problems is that he's not a power runner, not like Jamal Williams, and really not like Aaron Jones. Really, Jones is much more of is actually an underrated power runner. We've seen him break through tackles. He has a nose for the end zone, man, and but Darrynton Evans is really not so much the power runner that our both running backs are. Another negative is that he really wasn't used much in the passing game, so there's not really much to say in terms of his production as a pass catcher in the backfield. But hopefully, DARRYNTON will just be a backup for the Packers, with Aaron Jones leading the way if we get him signed to a long-term contract. Fingers crossed, you guys, we get him locked up. He is really primarily an outside runner, similar to Aaron Jones, not much of an inside runner. He's not in between the tackles guy. His vision is not very good there, so he won't be as effective inside as he will outside. He'll be a game breaker outside, man. And Darrynton Evans, I just believe, screams Green Bay Packer because of the scheme fit. And another negative is that he's not really a tackle breaker. He just doesn't have the power there. But he does have some of the ability to shuck and jive, and he's just really more of a finesse runner as opposed to the power that the Packers have usually gone for. But the outside scheme the scheme has changed, and Matt LaFleur wants to do what he can do to bring a little bit of a difference to the Packers' running game, and this offense, I believe, will go through the run game from here on out. Whereas Aaron Rodgers is getting up in there in age, 36 years old. It's understandable why I believe that this team will go for a running back, and I believe that Darrynton Evans could be here available at 175th overall in the 5th round. Now we get to the 6th round, where the Packers are picking at 184th overall. Packers here take an outside linebacker from Stanford, Casey TOOHILL, to help rush the passer after losing Kyler Fackrell to free agency. It would make sense to backfill here and get some depth here and get some depth behind the Smith brothers and Rashawn Gary. Casey has definitely got some production as a starter. He's got some good length, really hard hitter, quick off the snap, high effort player that the Packers like. Really fluid when playing downhill, has some special teams ability. He could stand to get stronger for the NFL. It definitely needs a little bit of work, which is why I think he's probably projected to go in the 5th or 6th round range, because he does need some work with hands and technique. Can struggle to get off blocks, and a lot of people are questioning whether he is a one-year wonder. With the first pick in the 6th round, the Packers take a cornerback with a really cool name, ESSANG BASSEY out of Wake Forest. What can I say about him? This little dude is wicked fast, man. He's wicked fast. And due to his short stature, it kind of makes some sense. That's the big con here, is that he's pretty short. He's roughly 5'9", so that's kind of below the Packers' height threshold that they have held on to for quite a bit of time. But they did pick a short corner by the name of Jair Alexander. Maybe things are going to change a little bit differently in how the Packers view corners. They're going to go for the faster, more athletic, rangier guys, as opposed to a long, tall corner. This is just something that's alongside the possibility. The Packers did talk to BASSEY a little bit. I think they've shown some interest, which is why I think they could go here, take a flyer here on the short, tenacious ESSANG BASSEY. What can I also say? What else can I say? He has the ball skills that the Packers look for. He is very much an experienced starter, but he was an outside corner at Wake Forest, but he will have to kick it inside to slot corner because of his size. He is capable in both man and zone, probably more in zone, probably due to his size. Since he is fast, he can handle the fast receivers downfield, especially the fast receivers that are in the slot. He can hang in with those guys and clamp down on the short and intermediate passing game over the middle. And this is where I think that ESSANG could bring that to the Packers. Although we do have a slot corner in the making. His name is Chandon Sullivan, but I believe he can play outside. We also do have Kevin King, who's coming up on a contract year, so going with exclusively a slot corner may be risky, but here at the bottom of the 6th round could be worth it. So that's ESSANG BASSEY out of Wake Forest coming to Green Bay with the 2nd pick in the 6th round, and now on to the last pick in the 6th round, 209 overall. So right here at 209, the Packers take a versatile player, fullback tight end Josiah DeGuerra out of Cincinnati. The Packers have a need at fullback and tight end. After letting Danny Vitale go, this makes a lot of sense to go get a replacement for him and be able to play in that H-back role that Danny played, and then Jay Sternberger played for in that role when Vitale was out with an injury. Well, Jace can play inline, and DeGuerra can do some stuff at the H-back role, playing as a lead blocker. He is definitely a run-blocking warrior, and that is something that's going to be very useful in helping creating some running lanes for our running backs. Jonesy, Jamal, Dexter Williams, Darrynton Evans, if he's drafted. He is a capable route runner. Being a tight end, he is pretty good out there. He could do it from out of the backfield or inline. He has good hands. Very rarely you will see a concentration drop from him. He's competitive. He's tough. And as a plus, he can contribute on special teams. The Packers like to go for special teams contributors in these late rounds. The problems here is that he does need to get stronger for the NFL. He is not great after the catch. He's probably not really a tackle breaker, but that just kind of has a lot to do with his size. And when are big tight ends really big tackle breakers? He's not really that much of a power guy, so he will not really be used much in the running game. If he is used in the fullback H-back role, he will be a blocker when he is over there playing in the backfield. And he could struggle to separate in man coverage. But if he's going to be playing mostly in the fullback H-back role, then that's not going to be much of a problem. He'll be able to catch a few passes from Aaron in the flat in the backfield. So definitely a lot to like. I definitely think the Packers will go for this type of player. And with the last pick in the 7th round, 236th overall, the Packers go back with a prior pick that I had for them in my first mock was a versatile nose tackle defensive end out of Nebraska, Darrion Daniels. I thought, why not? I mean, he could be there at 236. I've seen some mocks having him go down that low. Pros, he's quick off the snap, experience at both at 1 and 0 tech. He has good strength, good motor, something that the Packers normally like out of their guys. And the negatives are pretty much simple, as that he could play with some lower pad level, inconsistent push as a pass rusher. He does lack the first step to shoot gaps, and just not very effective at the point of attack, which is kind of why we're seeing him in the 7th round. He is going to be a guy that's going to have to fight his way onto the 53-man roster. It's not often around here you're not going to be able to get a whole bunch. You're not going to get a really good player. These late rounds is where you got guys with higher bust rates because the skill sets are not the same. But I think the Packers could find a really good versatile defensive lineman in Darrion Daniels, just to get some depth in there and maybe push a few guys to play better. You know, you do have Tyler Lancaster, who has started at right defensive end for us, struggled at times. But there is also our last year's 5th round pick, Kingsley Keke. Do not forget about him. He could possibly be the guy that overtakes that role, and we could see Darrion Daniels probably play at backup nose, and we see Lancaster maybe in that role too, but he'll probably be a defensive end again. So as much as I would like to have given the Packers an interior defense alignment earlier, I am just uncertain if the Packers are going to go that direction. And that will do it for my final 7-round mock draft for the Green Bay Packers. Good luck to Brian Gutekunst and the front office. Let's nail this draft, and if we do it, we could be one more step closer to a Super Bowl and bring home that Lombardi to Titletown where it rightfully belongs. This has been a lot of fun making these mock drafts, so I'd like to thank you guys for all the support. You guys have been awesome. The comments, your opinions are always welcome in the comments. Give me your thoughts on some players that I might have overlooked, or some players that I think that are probably just a little bit too much for the Packers. Like, what other positions of need should the Packers address? I really felt like that I definitely could have addressed maybe some positions earlier than I did, or later than I did. The NFL draft is not an exact science. We don't know how things are going to play out, who the Packers are really going to pick. Mock drafts are always going to be wrong. So whatever the sources are saying, things are probably a little bit different than they will be in real life. We're just all spectators. We are just gathering information and making our best guess on what will happen. So with that, I'll catch you guys later. Go Pack, go.